are backbones of African development. Among others, women are major actors in trade and production and account for up to 80% of the workforce in food production in Africa. They constitute 50% of the continent's population and for decades contributed to intra-African trade through informal cross-border trade, which according to the UNICA is the main source of job creation in Africa, providing between 25 and 70% of total employment in most countries. Despite the role of women in Africa, women are the least beneficiaries concerning economic, social and political issues in Africa. Although the African Union has made significant progress over the years with respect to gender issues, much work remains to be done in the African Union and its programs, organs, and member states. The Gender is My Agenda campaign, GMAC, was established in 2005, a year after the AU adopted the Solemn Declaration on Gender Equality in Africa to create a space for civil society to foster and monitor the implementation of the declaration. At each African Union Heads of State Summit, GMAC meets as a pre-summit and discusses various agendas of African women and forward it to the heads of states.
GMAC, Gender is My Agenda campaign network, you see that is growing, is around 200 network participants in this room, more than 50 African network that are working on issues of gender-related education of the girls. GMAC is, as each summit we meet, as a pre-summit, and we do our reporting on the situation in Africa. And we celebrate success stories.
GMAC is about really empowering women in different aspects. It's Gender is My Agenda campaign, and we are focusing our organization on the economic empowerment of women. The overall objective is really to gather all the efforts of the organizations on the continent in different thematic areas in order to see how can we really empower women on the continent and play their role in different sectors.
Important issue raised, especially agriculture. This whole world is talking about, the overall crisis of the world. And we have been discussing the crisis, but we know that Africa, if we want to overcome some of our obstacles, is, to go back to the land, our Mother Earth. We are being faced by climate change, but we say we can transform it. Africa have land, we have water, we have a lot, we have sun. So how do we transform it? But we are still vulnerable. So how do we organize ourselves to provide women with land, for example, to make sure that she become, at the forefront of farming, to feed our population? And to take it as a business as well. How do we empower them? So those are the critical issues that GMAC discuss.
As we are focusing on the economic empowerment of women, we know that Africa is the richest continent on earth, but yet it is the poorest of them all. But that's actually because we don't manage our resources. We don't invest in our human resources. And our human resources, 50% are women. So our real focus to have economic growth in Africa is to really empower our women economically. And this actually depends upon 3 pillars. First pillar is really the personality of the woman, how the people of Africa, how we empower the people of Africa to be able to educate them, to really able to let them start their businesses. Second pillar, or P, is the policy and we see there's a lot of trade agreements in the RECs with reference to COMESA or IGAD or ECOWAS or SRA, but the people on the grassroots, for instance, the cross-border women traders, they don't know about these agreements So we really have to make sure of the dissemination of information. The third pillar actually is the product. What product do we have in Africa? So the real challenge is how to have a good product with good quality, with competitive price, and actually use all the agreements that is there to boost this intra-African trade and to really highlight the role of women in the economic sector. Because if we really be addition to the value of all the African continent with reference to economic growth.
We take a resolution to constitute a panel which will be chaired by our friend, President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf. She's doing great on gender issues, so we want her to be the champion on agriculture, and we are sure that she will lead a team that will look into the specific issues in the NEPAD, but also in the African Union. And we have seen good practices on the ground. Ethiopia, for example, we see that women farmers are organized themselves, and they are in cooperatives, and they have a consolidated approach, integrated approach, where they deal with education, sanitation, health, and so on. So we need to see those models and replicate them very quickly in other parts.
I think the GMAC, which is Gender is My Agenda campaign, is getting all our efforts as organizations to get best practices, to share our experience. Like in Egypt, we started a very good project which is called Hatshepsut Women Business Development Center and Business Incubator. It's really for empowering women, for the startups of business, for the micro, small and medium enterprises, for the women who have potential of exports. And also we have a special target groups like the cross-border women traders, the women in conflict, the rural areas. So it's really about how you cater for all the women at different levels, not only confining them at the micro level, help them to have the marketing tools, help them to start their own businesses, and assist them and give them technical assistance in order that they can have access to finance. The whole issue is really about the holistic approach of the economic empowerment of women to have financial independence. And this is why we also say that our slogan is financial independence, to have the power of choice and voice.
We still need to do a lot on areas of violence against women, for example. Things are not moving. The body of the women is still being used in terms of the conflict. So we need to find a solution to restore the dignity of the women, African women. So that is why GMAC is very preoccupied by the situation in East Congo, and also how do we prevent this ongoing war in the Sudan, South Sudan, and Sudan at the border. So I think that we have, and also coming elections, like in the Mali case. Right now, our sisters from Mali have been appealing to us to support them in solidarity. They're facing a major crisis. The country is divided. So yes, I think that we need to organize ourselves and see how do we support our sisters in crisis.
When you hear people talking about the situation in DRC, some people can say these people are lying, this is not a reality. But when you meet women, imagine a woman can be raped twice, 5 times, and you see that for such a woman, for her living is nothing. So she would like to die instead of going on living, because life has become meaningless. Imagine a woman who is raped in front of the husband, a woman who's raped in front of the children, a woman who's asked, or a child who's asked to make sexual relation with his mother. imagine that situation. Can we go on talking about life in DRC? But we are still optimistic because we have women who are engaged. We have partners such as FAS. We have other colleagues, other women in the sub-region who help us. And as we are engaged, we are optimistic. We are going to use to search for other strategies so that Congo can recover peace.
As South Sudanese, as a woman, we are saying no for war. We don't like fighting. It's enough that we have died a lot. We are losing our husbands, we are losing our sons, we are losing our children, and we are exposed to risk of diseases, epidemics. Our children cannot access education. There is no basic services of health. So these are some of the issues. Women from South Sudan, with the support of ICSWIKI, last month, that is on 27th June, have a cyber conference that we have to use so many technologies in order to address this issue, because women are peacemakers, women are peace lovers, women are tools of change in a society.
Why don't we have early warning mechanism that exists in other countries like Senegal, like other places? Let's put in place those early warning, because it will help women to mobilize and be early response. You know, when something is happening, we can, you know, take the leadership and be at the front, not being partisan, but have that mechanism who detect, indicate, see those indicators, but also mediate. Women are good mediators. You can go on the ground, talk to the religious leader, they listen to the women, because they are the majority in the church, they are the majority in the mosque. Take the case of Senegal, my country that I know better. The women of different political parties came together to say that we say no to violence. I think those are key things that we need to see that it can really prevent.
We are 1 billion, almost now 1 billion people. If we invest in our people to add value and use our African brains to have our own technology, Africa will be the strongest continent on earth.
We will see what the African leaders will do, and we hope that they will elect a leader this time. And why not a woman leader? Because, you know, women can, AU since they exist and never elected a woman chair of the commission. It is time maybe for women to take, we have 5 women commissioners, it's good. But what about leadership? We want women president. We have Joyce Banda now, who is president of Malawi. This is great. So why not having, you know, in institution, women leading the big banks, the big institutions? So I think we are moving, but we continue to not fight, but we continue to really stand firm and to make sure that we have our seat in political governance, but economic governance as well.
This time around, women across Africa are getting organized, participate in different political, social, and economic spheres. For Africa to utilize its human resources properly, still more women should be part.